Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. Let me allow to say that I am very happy I'm here. I was invited to the framework of the Central European Professors Network and the Central European Academy and to carry on research on family law. Last year, our conference was devoted to general issues of family law in Central Europe. That's why I was speaking about family law and family life in the Czech Republic. I mentioned that in the year 2012 there was a new civil code in the Czech Republic and that family law was included into the book 2, family law. The lawmaker tried to come back to traditions abandoned by the communists in the 50s and later on in the 60s. However, beside that, a lot of novelties were introduced in connection with the civil code. It was clear that, for instance, the return to the historic concept of the power of the father or the parental power would not be a good solution. That's why the main authors of the new civil code try to find other inspiration sources beside the international conventions my colleague spoke about. Then some of the principles of European family law by the Commission on European Family Law have been taken into account. I was pleased that I was allowed to present my paper regarding the concept of the parental responsibility according to the Czech Civil Code in June in Warsaw. It was especially the legal regulation of relations between parents and children that underwent many changes. Today, I would like to concentrate on selected legal aspects regarding exercise of parental responsibility. I feel like a movie star. Yeah, and I would like to concentrate on good and bad case law, or let's say controversial case law of the Constitutional Court of the Czech Republic, and finally on design law as well. Professor Marcin Wielek spoke about it already. So let me start briefly touching on some turning points and on general information on parental responsibility. Just quickly, first of all, I would like to give you an idea of development regarding termination and the content of parental responsibility in the Czech Republic. In 1998, mainly thanks to the international conventions, the term parental responsibility was introduced into the Act on the Family. And however, not only change of terminology was important, the content was new. The lawmaker entered trichotomy of rights and duties, which means child's upbringing, child representation, and administration of the child's property. The position of a minor child was improved, mainly thanks to the convention, United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, the Article 12, and the child rights to participate was incorporated not only to the Act on the Family, but to the Children Act and to the Civil Procedure Code as well. And finally, as I mentioned, in 2012, a new civil code was passed and family law was incorporated in its book 2. And we can speak about continuity, as main changes were done in 1998, but especially previous conception of parental responsibility was taken over. There were some novelties. and mainly thanks to the principles of European family law regarding parental responsibility, we still have new aspects, and we have to deal with them. The question I pose to myself is whether the civil code should be changed right now. There are some pending drafts at the Parliament of the Czech Republic, especially by some members of the Parliament, deputies, and I will tell you more about it later on. Now I would like to remind you of general principles of parental responsibility. Parental responsibility is a key concept of Czech family law. It must be seen as a collection of duties and rights. Its aim is to protect a minor child who is not full capable, and the exercise of duties and rights belonging to the parental responsibility is up to the child's legal parents. The parents have equal rights and duties. There is no discrimination based on the sex or on the status of the parents. The child's parents are expected to know best what is in the best interest of their child. The draft lodged by the members of the Parliament is based on this idea. I will tell you more later on. Parental responsibility aims to promoting and safeguarding the welfare of the child. The child's participatory rights are respected. However, according to my opinion, the draft, I will mention later in the details, is a bit against the participatory rights of the child. But in general, I can say that legal regulation of the concept and content of parental responsibility is well-balanced, comprehensive, detailed. There is a lot of case of the Constitutional Court of the Czech Republic which cultivates legal awareness. However, some case law may be seen as bad practice or rather controversial. Later I show you more details. Now let me allow to present some more details regarding legal regulation of parental responsibility in general. Yes, here you can see the concept and content of parental responsibility according to the Czech Civil Code. You can see significant inspiration by the principles of European family law. The scope of parental responsibility is very broad. Parental responsibility includes duties and rights of the parents consisting in caring for the child, the protection of the child, ensuring his or her upbringing and education, representing him or her, administering his or her assets and liabilities. As a real novelty, in the Czech legal order, the Civil Code presents maintaining of personal contact with the child and determining the place of his or her residence. From my point of view, it's very important that the lawmaker affirmed these rights expressly. In fact, only when there is the conflict between the child's parents, the parents became aware of the entire spectrum of their mutual duties and rights towards the children. They start to discuss and deal the matters relevant for the children. Not only personal custody or care after separation or divorce, but also other aspects, especially the place of child's residence and education. We can speak about joint vessels. Here, quickly, I would like to say who is the holder of personal responsibility. The Civil Code distinguishes between holding and exercising the duties and rights belonging to the parental responsibility. only the parents of the child can be holders, and the parental responsibility belongs to the both legal parents. So it's important the parents are legally established. Parenthood is legally established. There is no discrimination based on the sex status, as I have already said. Doesn't matter if the parents are married or not, live together or apart. Doesn't matter how was legal parenthood established. Even the father, whose parentage was determined by the court against his will, is holder of parental responsibility. And parental responsibility belongs to all parents, irrespective of their legal capacity or their age. According to the Czech Civil Code, parents exercise parental responsibility jointly in mutual accord. The law emphasizes the agreement. However, in practical life, in the case of separation or divorce, the performance of duties and rights is often very difficult. The Civil Code distinguishes between daily matters, important matters, and urgent matters of the child. We all appreciate that the Civil Code contains an illustrative list of what important issues concerning the child are. Regarding important matters, not only the medical and similar procedures, the choice of education or profession of a child is demonstratively enumerated. The Civil Code stresses determination of the place of residence too. It is always significant where parents live together, whether parents live together or not, whether they are able to reach an agreement on key matters regarding their child. As I have already mentioned, this issue is connected with the decision-making on personal care after separation, de facto, or divorce of the child's parents. The personal custody may be exclusive, sole, alternating, or joint. If the parents fail to agree on a matter which is important for the child, the decision is made by a court, which applies even where one parent is excluded the other parent from making decisions on an important matter of the child. So the ex post decision making by the court is possible. However, sometimes it's too late, for instance, in the case of vaccination and so on. The law is based on flexibility. There is never res judicata in principle. It means that the court can change the decisions, the previous mediated agreements, and so on, when there is a substantial change of circumstances. Yeah, I have to watch my time. Now, something about divorce law. If it concerns the current divorce law, the Czech civil law provides that a marriage cannot be divorced unless the decision on relation of conditions of minor children after the divorce issued by the court has become final and conclusive. Decision on children means court decision approving the agreement between the parents or authoritative court decision on custody, maintenance and on visiting rights, which is not obligatory. It's necessary to decide this issue only if the situation so requires. As I mentioned at the beginning, there is a draft lodged by the members of the Parliament. The proposal for liberalization seeks to simplify the legal regulation of divorce. I can say that the proposal is based on general experience and desired conditions that the child parents are fully competent to decide. There is no space for paternalistic state, and the court should not intervene into family ties if the child is not at risk. I pose a question to myself if the proposal is too idealistic. I wonder if it's necessary to compare or adapt the situation of children born in wedlock to the situation of children born out of wedlock. If the parents of children born to de facto unions separate and an arrangement is reached, the court does not decide on these children. Here you can see that there are a lot of children born out of wedlock in the Czech Republic. However, this chart doesn't say anything about whether or not paternity was legally established for these children. According to the research published by the Czech Statistical Office, this doesn't mean that the Czech Republic follows the pattern of some Western and Northern European countries where the numbers of children born outside marriage exceed 50%. It was stressed that it doesn't mean that those children are born to, let's say, liberally oriented university graduates. The opposite is true. A typical mother with an extramarital birth is a woman at young age with no law education and being very much at risk or having an unstable partner, which means she might be single later on. The Czech Republic is in fact more similar to some other countries in this respect, where having children out of wedlock is not an alternative to marital status, marital births. And this pattern of single mothers from the lower strate of society, only having one child might even reduce the already low Czech birth rate in the future. Of course, many unmarried parents make an agreement for the sake of their children and stick to the agreement. No court intervenes in this family relationship unless the child is at risk. And that, in my opinion, is the weak point of the proposed new legal regulation of divorce for marriages with minor children. These children would not be parties to the divorce proceedings of their parents and would not be able to comment in any way on the parents' agreement in their things. Only a written agreement of the parents with verified signatures, possibly a notary record, would have to be submitted to the divorce court. How many? 2 3 minutes. So here I have prepare a slide about rights of the child. The children have right to participate, and it must be stressed that the Czech Civil Code puts emphasis on the rights of the child in general due to the convention. And here you can see that there is even a legal presumption. The Civil Code states that a child over 12 years of age is presumed to be able to receive information, make his or her own opinion, and communicate it. The court pays due attention to the opinion of the child. In relation to these rules, the proposed legislation seeking to simplify the divorce of the parents of minor children would not hold up. And to conclude, the current legal regulation is too complicated. Simply, the parents with minor children, they have to go twice to the court. First regarding children, and then for the divorce itself. It's too complicated, simply twice. And regarding the proposal, there would be only one court, and the children wouldn't be parties to the court proceedings, which is, from my point of view, very complicated, and it would be against the children, it would be against their participatory rights, and there would be no protection. So it's my conclusion. I am against this proposal, and I'm very happy that the Ministry of Justice organized a roundtable in summer this year, and I don't think that the proposal by the deputies, members of parliament, will be passed. So thank you very much for your attention.